Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Monday Weekend Wrap-Up. Joining us, we have Milo Simon Jordan the First on on your far left. We have Hoff White in the middle, and we have myself, Cartwheel, joining you guys tonight. Guys, it's episode 69, so we thought we'd do something very special. New setup. We're working on things. It is the summer months. We will be revamping things on the show, trying to get things looking nice. You guys can highlight your messages, and they will pop up on screen. It won't be massive. There's no chat on screen, but we're gonna try to do things. Oh, little loud music there. There you go. 42069. Exactly. But without further ado, let's get into our first topic of the evening. Well, first off, Milo, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm excited. It's 69 episodes. It's definitely one of my favorite numbers.
Uh-oh, I lost you. One sec. It is a great number. It is a good number, isn't it? Hoff, how you doing?
Not too bad.
No?
Nope, can't complain.
How are you, Cart?
I'm doing okay. My sleep schedule got messed up, man. It went crazy. Yeah. It just. Well, okay. This is the way I do it. I usually stream Monday, or no. I usually take off Tuesday, Wednesday. Usually I play games with you on Thursday over on your stream, but I streamed Wednesday and Thursday, and I think it just caught up. So I just had to take a couple of days off. Welcome in, guys. Anyways, let's talk with our fresh news for today, I believe. You gotta bear with me, I'm kind of running everything here. We have fresh news. Canada, I don't know, Canada, the national team's finances have deteriorated, apparently. They could be filing for bankruptcy. Hoff, you mentioned this in just in chat earlier. What's going on with that?
They've had issues with paying the women's team, and they've been like locking horns, the men's and women's team, overpayments there. But honestly, I have no idea how the mismanagement came about. But there's some kind of financial mismanagement afoot. I haven't found what it is yet, or a definitive source saying what it is yet. But yeah, it's wild that a national team could be bankrupt. Like, that's just crazy to me.
The Canada Soccer Interim Secretary Jason DeVos says, "We are in a struggle. It's not imminent, but we need to explore what bankruptcy entails and how it might affect our organization. We don't have enough revenue coming in for the programs that need to be run, and that includes everything from grassroots coach education and referee development to youth national teams and our senior men's and women's. Bankruptcy has been discussed, but not in the sense of this is a strategy or this is something that we are looking at. It's been discussed more from my own perspective to learn about. It is absolutely the last option that I want to consider or even think about, but I would be remiss if I didn't do my due diligence." Yeah, kind of weird. Milo, what's the Canadian football scene like for an up and coming?
I mean, I'll tell you one thing. I think I said to you last week after the USA-Canada game, right? I feel like football in Canada is where the US was 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's kind of where I'm at. There's definitely a very popular feeling amongst, but again, it's more of a die-hard element. It is growing, though, as Lim was saying in the chat as well. The popularity is definitely growing. I happen to know a lot of football fans here from the supporters club that I've been involved with, and I know several of them take the Canada national team very seriously, travel to watch them play. Prior to the World Cup, they went to the qualifiers in Costa Rica. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So I probably get a skewed view of it. If you ask the average Canadian, they'd probably tell you they watch it if it's on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that there's a mega. Hockey's number one, right? Hockey's always going to be number one. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it would be it's interesting that there's a Canadian league, right? I'm pretty sure there's a Canadian league, and maybe they just need to maybe incorporate it more MLS.
But the MLS is you've got the Whitecaps on the West Coast, and then obviously Toronto on the East. So don't think there's no MLS team in between. But again, they're really hockey cities, and everything's so spaced apart. So I can't see them adding another Canadian team in the MLS. I mean, maybe they will, but I can't see it happening, to be honest. And the Whitecaps, man, I don't know what it is, but they do not excite. They never make an exciting move. There's never been like a marquee signing. We've talked about it before. Nigel Reo-Coker is about the highlight, and obviously they had Alphonso Davies. And once he went to Bayern, that was pretty much it for the Whitecaps. It's been pretty drab ever since.
Yeah, and for how well Canada did in the last.
That's right, Tim. Sorry, yeah, Montreal.
The World Cup did
get Montreal.
They did so well in the World Cup that this. I mean, you got to wonder, why are they even leaking this type of stuff? Why are they even talking about bankruptcy? Like, maybe this is like a what's it called? A political move, maybe to bring attention to this, because I had no idea about the Canadian. Everything in Canada just seems happy. Like, everything seems fine. Like, everything's gonna work out. And then this is like the first negative press I've ever heard from Canada.
I don't get the feeling. I mean, I'll tell you what, it's not like headline news.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can tell you that for a fact. But I think part of it is because it's a national team, there'll be ways that the government can help. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure something will come of it where, it's not like they're going to shut down the program for good. That's just, it won't happen.
Right.
I think, I don't know. And the sport for young people is definitely not waning. It's growing. So.
Yeah. All right, well, that was kind of breaking news for today. Let's move on to another subject that was in the news regarding North American football.
It's a slow start to the summer chat, where the breaking headline is Canada's national team's finances. Grab yourself a drink and sit back.
A strong drink.
I don't know if you guys heard Gareth Bale's comments on Messi's move to the MLS, and he compared it with football in Europe compared to football over here. He said, in the MLS, it's very chilled. The fans celebrate a win like there's no tomorrow, and a loss isn't that big of a deal because there's no fear of relegation. What are you guys' thoughts on this idea of relegation being introduced into MLS? And is Bale a reasonable source to be talking about this? Does he have enough? He played like half a season in the MLS or something?
Yeah, I mean,
he also never played for a relegation-threatened club. So, I mean, beyond not being in MLS for that long, I love Gareth Bale. He's one of my favorite players ever, but he's not wrong about the attitude being different than MLS, but it just, I don't know, it sounds kind of disingenuous about being, they're not going to get relegated. Like, brother, you never played for a team that was even close to being relegated. So, yeah. As for relegation in MLS, I mean, it would be cool. It will probably never happen because the owners have to approve it, and they're not going to approve potentially sending themselves down, getting less of a TV cut, TV money cut, potentially less at the gate as well. I can't see it happening when they've already have their little closed system. You can call it a pyramid scheme. I've heard it called worse. But I mean, they're charging hundreds of millions of dollars to allow teams in. I don't know why from a business standpoint, I don't know why they would mess with that.
Yeah. He says, if you lose at Real Madrid, it is like the world has ended. You are crucified. You feel down. You go home and you're not happy. They accept losing a bit more in MLS. That's what he said.
Well, that's because that's because the game isn't as big. The whole city doesn't revolve around that team's fortunes. Do you know what I mean? They're more like, I think you're more likely. I've only spent a small amount of time in the US, really, but when I've been to sporting events, and I'm going to throw Detroit in as an example. When the Lions are shit, everyone's talking about how the Lions are shit. So every year, pretty much. But do you know what I mean? I don't feel like it's the same because it's not as big, because it hasn't got as many followers. It's never going to feel like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of a Michael Owen statement from Bale, really.
Oh, Michael Owen.
I'm gonna lump them in. That's the kind of key punditry you'd get from Michael Owen. That sort of statement. God. Also, I'm gonna really insult MLS here, and I'm sorry about this, Hoff. If you had a relegation in the MLS, those players are then going to be playing on basically the equivalent of your local athletic park, because the next level down is going to be high school, or something. You know what I mean? It's not the fan base is nowhere near big enough to be that deep. To start having relegation and leagues below, not only does it need to be a big fan base, it needs to be a deep fan base. And because it's episode 69, I'm going to use the word deep as many times as I can.
There we go. Yeah, I don't know how relegation would work. I think that is I think it's they see sport as more like a pastime. It isn't life or death, right? You can finish 8th place and still win the title. With the playoffs. So there's an element of how competitive do you allow the league to become, because relegation could hinder investment into the sport as well, just the way sports are set up here. But who knows? I think Michael Owen's catching a couple strays there, but I do agree with you. I completely agree with you. Michael Owen is.
I'm just asking Tim that because he said the USL he thinks could do pro really soon.
Yeah, the USL is the big league, right? That's the second.
Is that where Detroit FC play? Because I have a Detroit FC scarf. And I know that their dream is to be an MLS franchise.
There's I know in California there's Monterey Bay, there's Orange County, there's Oakland, I believe, all in USL. So these clubs are I guess they're slowly growing and getting ready for possible.
And that's just it. My mocking aside, the sport has grown and is growing in the States, right? That's what I'm saying. It's doing the same in Canada, but I think there's a gap, right, of where the US was that many years ago, and it is growing. There's no doubt about it. But again, to start, I mean, maybe they could do USL into the MLS, but I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if there's some long-term vision there. But yeah, it's got to be very long-term because of what you said. That the depth of the fandom isn't there, so you got to develop that, and we'll see.
And the next thing is exposure, Tim. So here's the other thing we got to talk about. If there's 4 leagues, right? I don't think I've ever seen the opportunity to sit and watch a USL game. Do you know what I mean? If you want to grow the sport, you have to, and if you want to market the sport, if they want the MLS to be, honestly, if they want the MLS to be more popular in Europe, they need to buy some primetime slots on a TV network and play the damn games.
Yeah.
You got to get people watching your product, and then it will grow. Mm-hmm. Maybe we're on the cusp of that, but I don't know. Maybe the upcoming World Cup will help, potentially.
Yeah. Stefan writes, on the other hand, did you see PK's comments saying that USA sports structure is better than Europe? I haven't read that yet. I'll have to look into that. That's interesting. I wonder what angle he could be coming from. I know he's involved in the Kings League, which has been streaming on Twitch, which has a, I was thinking about it. It's all about generating hype. They had the commentators, right? They have the commentators who I think are like usually like the team owners or something. So they're like super hyped, and when you hear that hype, you're like, "Ooh, what's going on here?" Like, what's going on?
How do I apply to be the English commentator for Kings League?
I know, right? Jesus.
I feel like we should send them in a tape cart. You and I, let's do a recording, and we'll send them a demo tape.
I'm down. Have you seen they went to extra
quit my
time?
job in a heartbeat to do that.
They do MLS style PKs like back in the day, where the player dribbles, and then if they miss, the other player immediately gets. It's like you have to play defense and offense 1v1 with a goalkeeper. So if you beat your man and you shoot and you miss, the ball immediately goes back in play, and then the defender becomes the attacker and tries to go score on the other side. So the attacker could be way behind the play, or the new defender could be way behind the play. Anyways, Jesse says not just competitive, but the structure means not much to play for. Ages for those teams outside the playoffs. Oh, 4 ages outside those teams, outside the teams outside the playoffs. So is Messi going to kill himself for a win versus Minnesota, such that Miami can finish 13th instead of 14th? Right. Yeah, so that part does.
Yeah, and it isn't just that. I think you'll see there'll be games that he won't play in because of the turf and things like that.
Yep.
Like, I just think that seems to be, and I suspect, I think I said to you guys about this before, I've got nothing to base this off. I just suspect it's something to do with health insurance purposes. There's something in there about, I don't know. It has to be, because it's been the same for several plays. Speaking of the Kings League, I would like to see it, because I used to like the Masters tournament, which was indoor football, 5-a-side, and it was all ex-pros, So like you'd see Paul Merson, fat Paul Merson would be out there, but still was the best player on the pitch.
That was good.
It's like I would love to see more of that. So I'd like to see the Kings League grow, and I'd like to see more pros at the end of their career maybe go and do a season in it or whatever it might be. I want to see more of that, to be honest.
Yeah, I just got PK's. Our producer has just sent me the PK comments. For me, the American concept of sport is much better than the European one. In the NBA, there are 30 franchises, and they all row in the same direction because they have the same interest.
But that can also be to the detriment, can't it?
But it's an aspect. But see, the only place it's a detriment is the life or death aspect of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like
sport does not take over life almost.
A group of rich people just making sure they all get richer together. That's
maybe
what it looks like to me.
Maybe. Thank you for that, Stefan, by the way. Anyways, moving along. Let's more USA news. Big news. Let me get the United States will serve as host of the expanded 32-team FIFA Club World Cup in 2025 after being unanimously voted upon by the FIFA Council. This is in addition to the 2026 World Cup, which will be in USA as well. Possible Women's World Cup in 2028, I believe. Copa Centenario or Copa America in 2024. There's so much to so many tournaments happening in the USA. It's just such a good time for USA football. Are you interested in this 32-team Club World Cup, Milo?
No, not really. I mean, anyone could attack and just say, well, your team will never be in it, blah, blah, blah. Sure, we can have that conversation. But, I mean, fans of teams that have been in... The most excited person I've known about it is extreme.
The Club World Cup.
He would love City to go and win that, right? And I'm just like, well, I don't know. Like other teams that have had their clubs go out there and play in the Club World Cup, it just doesn't have. That's something else they need to grow in Europe, because I don't feel like it's very hype. You know what I mean? And that could be to do with the marketing, the presentation, the times the games are on. Yeah, I mean, Stefan, like, you know, your team have played in it many a time. So like, it's. Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't have the same allure as the Champions League, does it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's. I could see. You know, I don't think just the winner of the Champions League would be there. So you know, you're just saying my team won't win it, but you know, there's a slightly larger chance that your team could win it. It's gonna make
for them making it more of a thing, but it definitely shouldn't be annual. What's it gonna be every 4 years?
I'm not sure actually.
I don't know.
Sure.
I mean, let's see. I don't. They're gonna have to work really hard if they want to make that like a go-to tournament. Wasn't this FIFA's or wasn't this part of the response to the Super League thing?
I think it
part
was
of their response, right?
I can't remember.
This came out like not long after the Super League, so it was another expanded tournament, like more teams involved. Obviously, there'll be money, you know, where there's games, there's money. So, but yeah, right now, if you ask me right now, it would feel like the Charity Shield, that sort of esteem level, which is silly, really, because it would be the Club World Cup,
right?
But then, you know, how many teams? They've done it before, right? Who's won it the last 10 years?
I remember Chelsea won when they were in it because they were mockingly called and rightfully called champions of the world.
I think European teams have won it. I think Santos won it. I mean, I think the Champions League winner has won it every year. I think Santos won it with Neymar, I think.
Okay, so. And this is the problem. Do you need a Club World Cup when the last 10 winners were Real Madrid, Chelsea, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Corinthians in 2012.
Yeah, that's
years ago. 11 years ago, Corinthians beat Chelsea 1-0 in the final in Japan in the International Stadium Yokohama.
Well, so right now what it is the European champions will go basically hop right straight into the semifinal and then play the final. Whereas other teams will play, you know, possibly 2 more games. I think, you know, they have to qualify. You know, Asia or Oceania will play, you know, 2 extra games. So this is basically just instead of it being like a you know, they come out for 2 games, it'll become like a, you know, couple week long thing where they, you know, play a couple games and then they go back, you know. And I think it'll be a little less whiplashy for the players as well, than, you know, just quickly going out for a couple games and then coming back type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, in 2019, Liverpool won it 1-0. Mordechai mentioned Liverpool winning it. My question to you is, did you care? Because I feel like I know plenty of Liverpool fans, and I don't feel like they were really bigging it up that they were in the tournament or winning it. You cared, okay? I mean, who did you beat? Flamengo in the final.
Yeah. So just a couple little information on the World Cup's setup. Europe is awarded 12 slots. And it's based on your coefficient from 2021 to 2024, based on your rankings there. So 12 slots for Europe, South America 6 spots, every other region, which is Asia, North America, South America, and Africa, all get four spots. And extra entries are expected to be awarded according to each team's ranking by the result of a 4-year span. The tournament is expected to run
fair.
The tournament is expected to run for approximately 3 weeks. All 32 teams guaranteed at least 3 games, 8 groups of 4. But yeah, sorry. What's not fair about it?
Well, I mean, you get 12 slots from Europe.
Yeah.
Right? and then 6 slots from here and 4 slots from there. Why do you think that they want the most slots to European teams? More people will watch it, more money. That's all it is about, money. It's nothing to do with winning the Club World Cup. Forget about it. Just those stats alone, I know damn straight the only reason we get 12 slots in Europe is because they want the European clubs there, majority, to bring in the viewers, which brings in the money. Simple.
Well,
I'm not gonna fall for it. No.
How many slots does Europe get for the World Cup?
I don't know how many groups.
I don't know. Let's see. FIFA World Cup.
Is it the same amount? More to try? I don't know if it's the same amount.
Confederation.
Mind you, that's going to change because of the expanded World Cup as well.
That's true.
So that's going to go up for sure. But let's forget about the FIFA World Cup, the International World Cup. We are focused. Let's focus on this because I think club football is different. You're bringing a much more passionate fan base, really, from European clubs than you are a national team.
I don't know about passionate. Maybe larger. Maybe larger.
I don't know. If you have Real Madrid and Barcelona there, right? Those fans are going to be way more engaged than I think the average national team Spanish fan. As far
there's probably more, like in number amount. I don't know, but I mean passion. I mean USA is way more passionate about the World Cup than any other competition in the world.
Yeah, but that's the USA. It's a completely different kettle of fish.
Well, I'm just saying, you
can't. That's comparing apples.
You're saying an English fan is more passionate about United than they are about England.
I think a lot of them are more. I think a lot of England fans are more passionate now about their club team. Yeah.
Interesting. That's weird.
I do.
I feel like I don't know. Maybe it's just the American propaganda I grew up around. But like when it's country, it's like, we go to war.
You're not going to notice it. I'm just like I see it. I've seen it since I was a kid. Change. You know what I mean? Like it's
right.
Yeah. And there'll still be thousands of people watching it, millions of people watching it. We're talking, I'm not talking. There's 5 people watching England and everyone else is watching the clubs. Like we're not dealing with extremes, but like.
Well, I think that's what it is. It's trying to, like, there's the FIFA World Cup, best country over, for the next 4 years. Then they're trying to do the FIFA Club World Cup, which is the best club over the next 4 years. Like that's the idea behind it. It's not necessarily based on the previous year's events, right? It's based on accumulation of 4 years, and then you go in and you compete. It's obviously, this is like, remember we talked a lot about salary cap or how to make it equal opportunity for, Brighton and United to win the league or whatever, or, that's a little extreme way of putting it. But this is similar. Like United in this case would be Europe and Brighton would be LAFC, like if you just kind of spread it out, it's giving the other confederations something to play for, I guess at the cost of Europe. But it's when you're trying to think of like, equalizing the playing field a little bit, maybe it'll make things more competitive in,
but it's just the odds instantly mean a European team is much more likely to be that club. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I just think
I just don't think that's right. If you want to talk about who is the best club on the planet, I feel like you'd have to have an even number of representatives, or it's not an accurate. Mathematically, it doesn't work for me.
Well, that's the same thing. You can say the same about the World Cup. Then, the CONCACAF it's the World Cup is rigged in favor of Europe. Right? I mean, I'm just saying when you look at it from the perspective of the World Cup being this big competition, I think it makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit of a drag for the European teams for sure.
And the other, when are they planning on holding this in the summer?
I didn't see. I don't think it was in the summer. Maybe it is in the summer.
For it to be a big enough success, in my opinion, to make it, if you want to get me on board as like, okay, this is the Club World Cup, right? Like I am when it's the World Cup. If you want me to get on board like that, you can't have it on during the season because I'm more interested in 3 points against Fulham.
June, July.
Weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got to be in the off season. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's good. That's a good thing because that will get more eyes on it. People will be more focused on that because it's more football.
It is a lot more
4
football.
years.
Yeah, every 4 years.
Will be every
2029 is the next one. It's as a fan, I'm always up for more football. Anyways, all right, moving on. Let's go to some UEFA news. Osasuna is apparently going to be banned from the Conference League. It all goes back to 2014 and 2 matches that were later found to have been fixed by Osasuna's then board, something which UEFA feels must be punished now with their exclusion from the continental competition, the UEFA Conference League. The governing body point to Article 4.1g of their rules, which they believed has been contravened by Osasuna's involvement in a match-fixing scandal. Contravened. What a word. So Osasuna are being punished for actions their board made in 2014. They have qualified for the Conference League Europe for the very first time in their history. Atletico Bilbao are sitting in the on the wayside, waiting for their spot to take their spot. What do you think? Is this the right move by UEFA for a almost decade-old ban? Hoff, what do you think?
It kind of there's a line in Osasuna's statement. I put it in our chat when we were talking about this. They said UEFA's strong with the weak and weak with the strong. And that is nail on the head. Like, they can point to this, UEFA being they can point to this and say, oh, look, yeah, see, we have our financial regulations have teeth. Like, we're actually we're punishing clubs. But and they will point to this, saying that, and when other instances get brought up, they won't. They'll just keep pointing at the Osasuna. I think AC Milan, or isn't AC Milan the only team to get pinched for FFP? I think, and it's been in effect for how many years? So yeah, I think that I don't know. Something about it stinks. It's unfortunate for Osasuna. I would like to see it get overturned, but I don't know. UEFA's a mess. That's basically what it boils down to for me.
You done?
Yeah. I looked at some Osasuna fan pages. They said one chatter says, well, it's a bit more complicated than that, since technically Osasuna wasn't the one indicted and condemned, but was instead part of the accusation and considered a victim of having its money stolen / misused. The current board is also the one that brought forward the accusations and the charges against the old board immediately after it happened. There was a change of power around the same time. So it's a little more messy than it may appear. They purged the board that was at fault for the situation, and the current board saved the club. And they're punishing the wrong people, is what the argument from the fans is, because the previous owner. It's like Chelsea right now are Bowley's doing all these things, and maybe 10 years down the line they find out that apparently there was insider trading or anything, and then they ban that Chelsea team with a brand new owner, brand new coach, everything, brand new players for the actions of this guy who which it's harsh, isn't it? It feels harsh, Milo. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It does feel harsh, just based on all the points you've just made, but it's you know, if this is their plan, then what are their plans for clubs that have done more recent bad things?
That goes to what Hoff was talking about, right? Strong with the weak, weak with the strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, huh?
Yeah.
That also, and I realize it's unrelated, but as you were talking about it, it made me think of like the like how do you punish racism? Like if a club if identifies and bans fans that are responsible for like racist chants, for example, and then the club still gets punished for that, like it kind of feels like they're kind of I realize again it's a different situation, but it's still like someone is committing a crime in your name and they are punished by you, and then you still get punished for that. So I don't know how to unpack all of that. That's kind of messy. I'm kind of pissed that I brought that up because now I'm thinking about it more and I don't know what to do there.
Yeah, it's tricky. You got it. I think. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. And you wonder if there was any punishments that they could have. I mean, what is it? Is it UEFA's jurisdiction to deal with this, or should it be like La Liga? Right? Shouldn't wouldn't you rather just see maybe like a 10-point ban or something, or like I don't know, some sort of La Liga should have dealt with it. Why are they waiting 10 years for UEFA to take action? I think it's kind of weird. I mean, especially if some stories are saying that they were innocent or whatever. Anyways, match fixing. What was the last match fixing you guys remember? Juventus. Who else? Were there any match fixing in England, Milo? You remember?
Yeah. Bruce Grobbelaar was like Bruce Grobbelaar was the Liverpool goalkeeper.
How do you spell Grobbelaar?
Grobbelaar. He was Zimbabwean. He was a really good keeper, actually.
Okay.
Was it match fixing he got done for, or taking a bung or something? I forget what it was.
Grobbelaar. Okay.
He was charged with conspiracy related to match fixing in July 1995, along with Fashnu Lim and Hans Segers, another goalkeeper who played for Wimbledon.
They don't make names like that anymore.
It was a betting and bribery scandal. Yeah.
So what happened to the teams? Did they say? Or
I don't remember anything happening to the teams.
That's
be
interesting.
honest.
That's interesting.
So Grobbelaar got fined 10 grand by the FA at some point. What else happened?
It's not exactly match fixing. It's actually just lighthearted. When Sutton were making their FA Cup run a few years ago, they had that big beefy goalkeeper. I think he was second goalkeeper. I don't know. He was on the team, and it was just a bunch of like regular Joes on the team. I think there were 8-1 odds that he'd eat a pie while he was on camera, and he found out about it and he fixed that wager.
Interesting. Seven says it's because Osasuna got relegated anyway in 2014, so they didn't get any point deduction at the time. Interesting. Yeah, match fixing and you get relegated. I mean, jeez.
Oof.
You want your money back. All right, moving on. Cristiano Ronaldo has made his 200th Portugal appearance against Iceland last Tuesday, marking the occasion with a 89th minute winner, which went to VAR and everything. Ronaldo first set the new world record by winning his 197th cap against Liechtenstein on March 23rd. He scored two goals in that game as well. So he has now reached 200 caps. Most players are happy to get to 100 caps. Pretty amazing stuff. I think this qualifies him as being the GOAT. What do you guys think?
I think it's impressive. I don't know about GOAT status because of that. It certainly helps his resume. Because I'm just looking at the all-time list of international caps, and there's a lot of African and Asian players in the 180s, 190s. Oh, not a lot. There's a handful. But as far as UEFA players, there's 3 in the top 10, which is kind of crazy.
Oh, you're looking at the top 10. I was gonna say, can you name the person in second place, Milo? I know how if you're looking at it. He's technically a current player. He's a former teammate of Ronaldo.
Former teammate of Ronaldo.
Currently, technically still playing. He's old though. He's up there.
Sergio Ramos.
Yes, correct. With 180 caps.
Yeah. I was just trying to think of who's played a long ass time.
Very nice. Sorry, Huff. Continue. I know you were saying that top 10 are all from Europe.
Only 3 of the top 10 all time are from Europe. So it's certainly super impressive how he's just kept his physicality, his body in like peak athletic shape. That's just incredible how he's done that, and he's still playing, representing his national team on the biggest stages.
I have no evidence, but I just want to ask you guys: do you think it's possible that CR7 has taken PEDs during his career?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah,
I mean,
there's a lot of YouTube PhDs, that talk about his jawline is like that of a someone who's taken fat burners. But we have no proof like we do with Messi. We have proof with Messi, so.
I mean, maybe it's, I don't know. It's so easy to be like that, but like, I just think to be that physical specimen for that long, something's a bit sus, man. Like, I know for a fact metabolism changes. Yeah. I am evidence of that. Yes, my training regime is not quite the same as his. I concede. Okay.
You only do 30 seconds in the cryogenic chamber,
Exactly, yeah.
He does like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
This is appropriate for episode 69. He takes Botox, mentioned by Stefan. Did you know that there's reports of him taking Botox to his testiculars?
Really?
Botox to the sack.
What's for the what purpose?
Episode 69. I don't know. Maybe he wants.
Okay.
He doesn't want.
I was gonna say that, whereas his abs are chiseled from stone, mine are chiseled from butter.
Ooh. Yeah, he's a good. I think he's just he's just a good example. I think he's a good example. Other than the sexual deviancies and whatnot. Other than that, I think he's a good professional. Good professional. I think we can all admire that. Yeah.
What if he lets himself go when he does finally retire, like Brazilian Ronaldo? What if he becomes like fat Portuguese Ronaldo? It'd be amazing.
That'd be great. Can you imagine?
It would be good.
Can you imagine? Yeah. I'm trying to really think about it, and I can't even. I feel like he'd be. I don't know. I bet
where you can make that happen.
I bet right when he retires, he's going on TRT and all this stuff. He's gonna just unleash all the PEDs he was taking.
Have you seen Dodgeball? The movie Dodgeball?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Ben Stiller's character at the end of that, where he just lets himself go, just eating buckets of chicken and donuts, and that's the picture I get.
Okay, let's move on to other UEFA news. Scotland played against Georgia. I don't know if anyone. This is a bit of a kind of a in the Euro qualifiers. Bit of a smaller game, but nonetheless very interesting. I was watching for Scott McTominay reasons, but the pitch was completely waterlogged. I don't know if you guys saw this.
I saw pictures.
It's pretty hilarious. The game had to be stopped after Scotland scored off a corner. And, every footstep was just like in a splash of water. You could see, it was almost like an animation. And then as the ball would move and the ball would randomly stop here and there on the pitch, and the goal ultimately came from a corner. The ball dropped to the box. Scotland player kicked it, but it was just water everywhere, you know. And the goalkeeper couldn't see it, and so they spent a bunch of time, you know, brushing water away, you know, rolling water out of the pitch, wringing it like a rag. Ultimately, they resumed the match, and Scotland ended up winning. But the question does come up: what was the worst pitch you guys have ever played on? And chat, feel free to share your guys as well. I remember one time it was my junior or senior year of high school, and it was rainy. We took a 2-hour bus to play an away match, and it just started pouring down. And you know that presented, you know, either we should not play it and come back and reschedule, or we got to play it. You know, a 2-hour bus ride in high school, you know, it's not as straightforward as it might seem. And so we played, and it was just a shit show. I remember I went to go kick the ball, and my foot went probably 6 inches into the ground because of the mud. You know, it just, like, I went to go kick the ball, and, like, my foot, boom, just straight into the ground. Couldn't kick the ball, and I kind of screwed up my ankle for a long time. But that was probably, you know, the worst experience in the rain. I don't know if you guys have any memories. Yeah.
I mean, school level, we definitely played on some rough pitches. I think I've talked before about there was one pitch on the Isle of Sheppey. It was so windy, and the pitch was on a hill, so it was like an incline. So that first half you might be running downhill, but the second half you're running uphill.
Yep.
I've also played. I have played in conditions much like the Scotland v Georgia game, because that's quite common. And probably the worst was a hailstorm when we played Faversham Town. I remember because my granddad came and watched that game, and it was like a hailstorm, and it fucking hurt, man. It was hailing chunks of ice whilst we were playing.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Real quick, UEFA's rules on abandonments. If a match cannot start or cannot be played in full, the full or remaining match time is, as a rule, played on the next day, without prejudice to any possible disciplinary measures. For that purpose, the host associations must conclude all the necessary agreements to ensure that the required facilities are available and can be operated. If a match cannot be rescheduled the next day, the UEFA administration fixes a new date during or as close as possible to the international match calendar window concerned. Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. Hoff, do you have any memories of poor weather conditions?
I always loved. I played in a couple games that were like standing water on the. Well, it was raining, but there was standing, like, no drainage, so there's standing water. I always loved playing in rain as a goalkeeper because it accents your slides and dives, so you can start a slide like 3 yards earlier. It's awesome. It would get tricky around the 16 though, because it's really easy to slide out of the box with the ball in your hands, which is not ideal. But yeah, I think I mentioned we played on a football field, and they had it crowned in the middle, like it was flat, and then there's like a crown for drainage, which it worked for drainage. But when you have a soccer goal at the ends of that crown, I could stand up, and in the middle of the crown, the crossbar would be here, and then I'd stand in the corner, and I couldn't touch the corner, so I would be diving downhill to either side. So that was probably, pitch wise, that was easily the worst field I ever played on. And you would have random, like, football cleat spikes still left in the ground, and mouth guards and stuff. It was not ideal at all.
Yeah, I mean, now that I think about it, some pitches were just crazy slanted, you know, for drainage reasons, you know.
Yep.
I think this was it Hampden Park, I believe. Let me see, where was this? Yeah, Hampden Park. I felt for the supporters, you know. I felt for the supporters.
Mate, they're Scottish. They're used to it.
No, but I mean, like, if they had to call the game. If they had to call the game. Yeah, I would have thought they would have had better measures to deal with the water, you know. But I guess not. I don't know.
Nah, mate. Scotland. You just don't know. Scotland. Yeah. Everything extreme about England is more extreme in Scotland.
Alrighty.
That's not a lie. That is the truth. Any Scotsman in the chat that can verify. They're funnier, they're tougher, they're wetter, they're colder, it's foggier.
Yeah.
The accent's thicker.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You love Scots, man.
Speaking of the Scots and the English, a new survey in England says, I think this was by the BBC, it says that 2/3 of the English fans oppose the use of VAR, the video assistant referee. A lot of controversial decisions. Howard Webb now leading the reform of VAR in England. Many calls this year have fans disgruntled. You know, missing the offside here, missing a handball there, clear foul there, etc. It seems like a never-ending saga with this VAR thing. First off, 2/3 sounds like a very large number of fans. I think it could be.
Yeah, but that's all that means is they did a survey of 100 people, and 2/3 of that 100 said that's how a survey worked, right? So it literally depends who they asked, right? And if they asked a certain group, like for example, if I walked in a pub at 10 p.m. at night in a football popular city in England and asked 100 people what they thought, you know, the answers I get are going to be, it's shit, you know, like all I'm saying is I'd have to see the absolute metrics of who they asked, because if you asked 100 people spread throughout the country, that would be fairer. But where did this survey take place?
Let me. I have a little more information on that. Almost 2/3, 63.3% of supporters said they opposed the use of VAR, with only 26.6% saying they were absolutely or somewhat in favor of it. The National Supporter Survey was commissioned by the Football Supporters Association and covered 9,645 fans, running online in March and April. That's interesting, online. Only 1 in 20 of the fans who had experienced the technology being used in stadiums rated their experience of it as good or very good. The survey also found an overwhelming support for the introduction of an independent regulator for English football, with 88% of those agreeing that they needed a regulator. And apparently in 2017, they found 74% of fans favored the use of video assistant referee to support on-field officials during games changing. So 9,000 people were
I mean, it's
surveyed.
still a small number of the football supporting population. However, that definitely does make it sound a little better. I mean, I suspect a lot of the people that said they don't like it are people like myself that I think it's necessary, but I just don't like the implementation of it.
I think
those people.
The interesting thing in the question was the use of it in the stadium as a fan. I think that was the interesting part that I just got here. Is if you're sitting in the stands and you're waiting for a VAR decision, you're literally just like, you have no idea unless you have like a radio, you know, have the commentary on or something. And they could improve that.
It's the fans' fault. So for years now, they haven't shown controversial incidents on the in-game monitors in stadium. So you have the big screens in the corners. They'll show the replays of goals. They don't show horrible tackles. They don't show, fringe decisions on the replay monitor for the entire stadium to see. And it's about inciting the crowd and all that stuff, right? So partly that the English fans have no one to blame for that but themselves. Because if you could be civilized about a decision, then maybe they'd be more willing to show it on a big screen. And I've been at these games, and I've been the guy yelling. So I know fucking damn well what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Hoff, any thoughts on
that? So I hear a lot, and being in the US, and I'm like pretty central to 3 different NFL teams. It sounds kind of similar to what I hear from people that go to NFL games. The NFL makes their product for the television viewer, not for the in-game fans. Or that's what they're building it towards, because that's where the advertisers are paying money. VAR seems like I like it. I don't think it's like Milo said. I don't think it's implemented in the best manner, but it's if we're watching at home, we know exactly what is going on.
Right.
We know, oh, there's a review. They're looking for this or this or this. If you're sitting there, watch like, oh, he scored, he's celebrating. What are we looking for? Like, what happened? Was there a foul? Was there offside? Like, you don't know if you're at the stadium. So
it does put the message on the monitor, on the big screens in the stadium.
Okay.
It says like checking for offside or
okay.
Right,
If there's a
it does come up
screen.
and say that.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much every ground does have a screen, but
Old Trafford doesn't have a screen yet. I don't think.
not even under the what
Oh,
about
in
under
the stands, maybe. Yeah,
in the
maybe.
stands, 'cause-
yeah, maybe.
that's kind of the new
Yeah.
obviously I'm the older stadiums, they would have it one in a corner, right? They
Right.
don't have that anymore, but they tend to have them like under the roof.
Right.
And under
Don't
the
show like I'm sitting on my couch in Ohio. I can see pretty much what the review officials are looking at.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting in the stands, I'm just looking at a purple screen that says VAR review.
Yeah, so
Potential offside.
you're getting the television replays and the
Right,
commentators telling you their perspective, which is
Yeah.
not different from how it was before VAR. We still
Yeah,
had
that's
that
true.
before VAR, right?
Yeah.
You know, we got TV replays and we got the commentators telling us what they thought had happened or how they saw it. That to me isn't anything new. The problem is, you know, again, I think they can't show those replays in the stadium because of the whole, and that's a decision they made. They could change that decision,
Right.
Yeah.
in the interest of being more transparent. I think we've talked about it endlessly during the season, and guess what? We'll talk about VAR every week next season too.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's go to the chat here. Jesse says, how quickly we forget linesmen and referees, missing calls by yards every week. Survey was taken in Rome, bar immediately after the Europa League final. Experience in the stadiums is definitely poor, nowhere near cricket or rugby. But that is different to the effectiveness of technology. Limmer says the problem is not VAR, it's those who are using it. VAR suffers from uninformed, bloody color commentators. So many of those blokes are uninformed and just throw their hands up in the air. I don't get it. Surely the clear and obvious, etc., rather than learning from actual rules of VAR intervention. Yeah. The commentators.
A lot of them sound like dinosaurs when things are being explained, or it's right in front of them. They're like, I don't get it. Like, okay, like it's not the game that you played anymore. It is, but only in name.
I can sympathize with commentators, saying stupid stuff, but actually no, I don't. They're paid a lot. How much are they paid? I wonder how much they're paid. I think sometimes they're just talking to fill space and etc. But so you got Michael Owen out there, yabbering off about whatever he's talking about. Jamie Redknapp. That's another one I don't like very much. Since VAR has been implemented, the World Cup has had more underdogs reaching farther than ever before. Still, my comment gives. That's why Messi got all those penalties, apparently. Okay. The Europa League final refereeing wasn't even that bad. Yeah, Jose Mourinho, actually, I don't really have this set to be covered. He got a 10-match ban or 5-match ban or something.
It wasn't 10.
It was
I think it was
5,
4.
3 or 4.
Trivia tonight. How many games did Jose Mourinho get banned for?
But
he resigned from his post he was on some UEFA committee. He resigned after he got banned as well.
oh, really?
Yeah.
What was
4
it?
matches.
It was inciting violence against referees or something.
I don't know what it was. I think it was his actions. Yeah.
I think
that's
it was
what
for his comments and actions. Yeah, after 'cause
inciting.
he, waited for Anthony Taylor in the parking lot to yell at him.
And then all the fans chased Anthony Taylor and his family through the airport.
Yeah.
But again, that's more on those fans.
Exactly.
I'm not a Jose fan, you know that.
Mhm.
But that really is just the despicable people that were at the airport that day.
Do you remember the handball the call that he was upset about? Do you remember the handball call?
No. Oh,
No.
why did Iran get timed out?
Oh, you can't do multiple emojis.
Spamming emojis.
Which emote? I want to know what emote.
I think
It
it's
was
just any, like,
It's just
five of
any.
them. It looks like there were 5, yeah.
It was the one because it's episode 69. I just assume it was the
Gachi Heifer?
Yeah, you know what I'm.
The guy having a
the emote. What is it?
Oh yeah,
What
yeah.
is that called?
I forget what it's called. Anyways, I think I don't know. The handball. Do you remember the handball? That Jose was pissed about?
No.
It was a kind of a handball that wasn't called, but I don't know. Like, what do you?
We talked about it that week, did we not? I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
we
we
did.
did.
It's a while back.
Yeah.
Anyways, we don't gotta get too far into it. Let's move on to let's get into the real meat of the show now. Saudi Arabia. The Saudi spending continues. Gary Neville is a big he likes to talk. He says the Premier League should put an instant embargo on transfers to Saudi Arabia to ensure the integrity of the game isn't being damaged. Checks should be made on the appropriateness of the transactions. If it comes through that process, obviously transfers could open again, but I do believe at this moment in time, transfers should be halted until you look into the ownership structure at Chelsea and whether there are beneficial transfer dealings that are improper. Gary Neville also, big proponent of the independent regulator. This is following 7 players offered huge Saudi Arabian transfers. Kante, Koulibaly, Mendy, many others going to Saudi. What do you think about putting a transfer ban on Saudi here?
What are the exact reasons he wants a transfer ban?
He says that he doesn't know if he thinks that the ownership structure at Chelsea isn't clear. And
So what we talked about last week, like where you could be an investor, like a financial loophole. Well, look,
Yeah.
I think like all loopholes, right? If you found one before it's closed, then like I can't. I don't want there to be a loophole where people could do that. However, until a panel or whoever's job it is to look at that, it ain't mine, I'll tell you that. Whoever's job it is to look at that and say, okay, you can't do that anymore, fine. But I don't think you can just say, okay, well, you can't do that now because we've just realized this second. Like, you've got to look into it and prove it. And then if you prove it, then change the rules based on that if you don't want that to happen again. I mean, that's how any loophole would go, like, right?
Yeah.
I know, that's kind of how I see it.
So far, we've had
Explain it very well.
We've had Cristiano Ronaldo, Karim Benzema, N'Golo Kante, Ruben Neves confirmed, and now Koulibaly. Rumored to be going, or in the process of going, are Hakim Ziyech, Edouard Mendy, Marcelo Brozovic, apparently going to Al Nassr, Bobby Firmino as well, and big question marks surrounding Bernardo Silva, Riyad Mahrez, Jordi Alba is being linked, Callum Hudson-Odoi now being linked, Antoine Griezmann being linked, Hugo Lloris being linked, Aubameyang, Saul, Thomas Partey, Alvaro Morata, all being linked to Saudi now, and they all have decent bases.
Names, yeah, but a lot of those names that you mentioned are approaching what I would call the twilight years, what used to be known as the twilight years of your career. It's also sort of sometimes known as the MLS years of your career.
It's true.
Right? So for me,
now it's the Saudi years.
Well, yeah, and so for me, I feel like at best the Saudi Arabian League is going to be like the MLS, but they're going to pump way more money into it than America ever will.
Oh, yeah.
So it will probably be above the MLS.
Right.
You know what I mean? When it's said and done, if they keep going like.
Yeah, I mean, Ronaldo said a couple times in the past that he believes that Saudi can be a top 5 league in the Europe region. In that
I'm
area.
not saying that they're not Champions League level players, Browd. Just to be clear, I'm just saying that they're in their twilight years. So a lot of those players, may not feature week in week out for a Champions League and Premier League, or La Liga and Champions League, week in week out throughout the whole season. I mean. Yeah, I think my comment is fair. At the moment, it's targeting players in that, or players towards the area of the career where it's one last payday. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And that they have the money to offer them that payday in spades. So, I think there's a combination of factors. I don't know. As a Premier League fan, I don't feel, threatened by the Saudi League. I don't see it, none of these signings are really making me go, oh my God, we're finished.
Yeah, and I don't think the idea is that. I think potentially. Sorry, Huff. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's kind of interesting that they're putting all this investment in purchasing clubs. The PIF is purchasing all these clubs, and they're investing in the sport, and then they pulled out of their World Cup bid. I thought that was interesting. I don't know if that just means all right, we're gonna I think they said they pulled out and then they backed the Portugal Spain bid. I think that they endorsed. I don't know if that means that they're kind of hoping that they would get the 2034 bid after that. But anyways, I think the only relevance for me that it will have, because I'm not, where can you watch the Saudi League right now in the US? It's not on do they have a broadcast package? They might have one for next season if they sign some of these names. But the only impact for me, and it's not even that much anymore, is that you'll see more people playing with Saudi teams in FIFA. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know where it's.
It's not going to be called FIFA. Don't forget that.
Oh, right, on EAFC. Sorry.
EAFC. It's in the game or something. I don't know.
Apparently, they're trying to get away from EA. EA's split or something. Anyways, that's another conversation. Yeah, I mean, I think there's right. Bernardo Silva, Ruben Neves. Bernardo Silva's 28. Ruben Neves 26. They're not. That is not an MLS move. MLS never had that type of pull. There are some, as they trickle into this lower age group, that's where it becomes interesting, right? If they were all close to 30 plus, then I would say, okay, yeah, it's a little wide, little high. It's maybe not best for the future.
In fairness, I said the majority of those players mentioned
absolutely
in their twilight years, and that they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not refuting what you said.
I understand there'll be exceptions. But I mean, yeah, Ruben Neves, good player. Again, is he standout player in the Premier League?
So the thing is his contract's a 3-year deal. He's going to make a boatload of money, change his whole life, his whole family's life, a generation's life, and then he's 29. And maybe he fancies a move back to Europe at that point. You never know. Maybe not his stock won't be as high as it was now, where he was being linked to Barca, being linked to Liverpool, being linked to even United at some points. But if for example, what if they started getting these players to, instead of going, Orkan Koçku going to Benfica as a stepping stone to a bigger club, if they could somehow convince him to go to Saudi for a couple years before going to a Madrid, Barca, big Bayern, Juventus, whatever other big clubs insert there. You never know what. if they're able to get a 26-year-old in his prime, and you know, you could even argue he's not even hit his prime yet. That's an interesting move. You know, moves like that, a couple of those, and you know, you could see something. The other point I wanted to get to is,
I think it would take more than a couple, though, mate. I think, like, you're not going to become a brand, right? If your ability level is that of, like, Messi or Ronaldo or Beckham, or, you know what I mean? You have zero chance of becoming a worldwide brand, I think, by going to play in the Saudi league.
I mean, okay, but like we said, the fifth biggest league is what the goal is. We're not trying to replace the Premier League. We're not trying to replace La Liga. We're not trying to replace the Champions League. You know, we're trying to replace Portugal. We're trying to replace Holland. We're trying to replace, you could argue, I won't say Germany or Italy, but France. You could argue France. They're trying, you know, that's what they're looking at. You know, they're looking at that area. Belgium. More people will probably watch Saudi League than Belgium.
Conversation is money. That's the only reason.
And what's the problem with that?
Well, I mean, it will, because of that, it will never, what's the word I'm looking for?
No. And I think
it'll never naturally grow to be what you're talking about, because it's false. It's not real. It's not real hype. It's just money.
No, but you were
paid for it.
I think
and
there
if the
is
money dried up, they would stop going.
I think there is football fans there, though. You know, it's not like we're acting like it's just like. Yeah. There's a couple dudes with the headdresses on, a desert, and oil pumps. You know, that's that's like the image we have of Saudi Arabia, and that's just not. I think, I mean, at least from the West perspective, that's what, you know, some people would say, or, you know, some people might say. But the fact is there are people there that love football, you know, and
for sure.
And I'm sure there are people there that love playing football. The under-17s, right, in the, I believe, the under-17 AFC Championship, or might even be the World U17 World Cup. They've topped their group. Saudi Arabia beat Argentina. You know, Saudi Arabia also politically is slowly changing. We analyzed it a couple days ago on stream. You know, there's a lot of things there. You know, they're obviously trying to diversify their markets from just being oil to tourism, and, you know, like we said, they did drop to 2030, but they're going to look at 2034 World Cup bid as well. I think it's too easy to say it's just money or something. I mean, we can get back into the whole sports washing thing, but I don't know if you guys want to do that. But
I mean, I'd tell you what, let's put this conversation on ice for 20 years, and on episode 8,000, let's revisit it and see where the Saudi League is.
Well, let's look at MLS, right? I think we would have said the same exact things about MLS, right?
No, but the money being thrown about by the MLS is not even, it pales in comparison.
I mean, Beckham got a pretty big deal at the time.
One player, yeah. I mean, how much money?
But then remember the amount of stick they got for that. You know, they were saying, "Oh, he's not going to make it. He's not going to do anything. He's just going to come in, get his money, and leave. You know, he's not going to help the league or anything."
That wasn't the I was still in England then, by the way. That wasn't the feeling in England.
What were they saying in England?
Well, amongst, I can't speak for everybody, but amongst my friend group, and we basically talked football morning, noon, and night for my whole childhood. You know, Beckham going there was positive for MLS, is something we thought. We thought it would. I actually thought that it would help grow the league more, but I think that the MLS, whoever's in charge of that, I don't know enough about it, to be honest. I don't think they ran with it the right way to make it grow even further. And maybe they weren't able to. Maybe they couldn't attract the young, you know, the young best talent, despite having money or despite having Beckham grow. You know, it just maybe they tried to grow it more, but I feel like it didn't work. I thought it would work better than it did, is what I'm trying to say. I thought that hype, it died off so quickly, and then even when other players started going there after that, even when Henry went there, I mean, no one was like, oh man, you know, like that's amazing, you know what I mean? Like it was the twilight years. They never went on from that and used it as a platform to recruit the best young players, and maybe they couldn't. I don't know. I wasn't.
See, okay, so I have a slightly different from the American perspective. And I would just kind of transform myself into a Saudi perspective now, right? Like if I was in Saudi, There's a league there.
And Saudi couldn't be further apart.
Well, what I'm saying is from a football perspective, right? We have a league here called the MLS. They have a league there called the Saudi Pro League. Both leagues very kind of small, not much going on. MLS, is not even the first off. MLS is fighting against NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, you name it, right? We have all these sports they have to fight against. So the hill is already set there. In Saudi, there's no other league, as far as I know. Maybe from the Saudi perspective, they know other leagues, but from my perspective, that whole area is just football dominated, right? If USA was football dominated, but we just didn't have the players, I can almost guarantee you we would have spent way more money on MLS, like way more money on developing that league. But the fact is we already have our superstars here. We already have other sports superstars. Kids are paying money to buy this kit, that kit of this basketball team, that NFL team. So from that perspective, and look at it, what did we, almost 20 years on from the Beckham transfer. Look at where the national team is. Look at where the youth systems are, right? Everything has been structured to a better USA, footballing
I'm not,
situation.
and again, I'm not saying that the Beckham move didn't improve the MLS. What I'm saying to you is it didn't have the effect as big as what I thought it would. I thought the MLS could go on to be one of the top leagues.
Oh, okay.
Had they done it properly, right? But because people in it, I can't speak for the Spanish or the French or the Italian. I've never lived there. I've not grown up in their culture. I don't know how they feel about the MLS or America, right? But I know a lot of people in England that quite liked the USA. It always did. Sort of like everyone wanted to go vacation there, visit New York, visit LA, visit Florida, all these things that when you're growing up as a kid in England, like people talked about it all the time, like,
right.
And assuming that there's people like that in all the countries in Europe, like I feel like they could have done more. And maybe to your point that they won't because of the size and the scope of the other sports and the stars that you have in there, and it's not necessary. But like now it feels not too late, but it would take something massive to really twist it. And I think Saudi is facing even a harder task. Personally, sure they might capture the Middle East, and
that's all they got to do.
There,
that's all they got to do.
Fine, I can't see it coming.
Like Belgium, right? The Belgians love the Belgian league. No one else, frankly, 99% of the world probably doesn't give a shit about Belgian league. And that's maybe. and they got to a World Cup semifinal. That's it. We don't have to look past that. We don't have to pretend like they're trying to be the global dominant sport or whatever. It's not about world domination. It's just about do the kids, can we produce this entertainment?
The other side of that, they are literally throwing money, and it makes it look like you're just signing mercenaries. It is not a way to grow your league, except within your own borders. And if that's your goal, then fine.
Absolutely.
Can I ask why you're so invested in the Saudi league becoming a success?
Well, okay, I'm not. I don't care if it becomes a success. I don't care. I honestly don't. Because that's my point. And it's interesting how so many people are taking the time out of their day to be like, it's not going to work. It's like, what do you care? Like who cares if it, like, what does it matter if, why would you wish that upon it?
You literally started this segment by telling us how many players they've signed. And oh my God, you started the conversation.
That's the news. That's what's happening. They're signing players.
Then you're like, why are people saying their opinion on it? Well, because you asked me.
No. I'm saying why would you're saying I want it to succeed. I'm saying why would you not want it to succeed?
It's not whether I want it to or not. I just don't think it's going to become what you think it is.
Right, but I'm saying why okay. I understand. I'm not saying what I think.
I can't get banned, Mordechai. Don't worry, I can't get banned.
No, he's not nearly as annoying as you, Mordechai. Basically, what's happening is, from my perspective, is there's a country investing in football. Can we agree that's good or no? Can we all agree? That's good, right?
Sure.
On a basic level, right? There's a youth system that will be invested in. I mean, I think it's a little arrogant of us to say that they're not going to do anything other than just sign stars. I think they must, and if they don't, then I will, I'll put my hand up and say I was completely wrong. But if they're not investing in this, obviously the academies, the youth system, etc., that I'm assuming that's happening. Just like in MLS, right? In the USA, more kids were, playing in private clubs than playing for MLS academies at one time, right? Beckham came. I remember clearly my cousin telling me, "Hey, they're doing this, Beckham tryouts. You can come to the Galaxy and try out, and you maybe get into the academy type of thing. That type of conversation just wasn't really there in the past. Just little things like this that maybe we don't see from an international level, but at the local level was happening in my area at least. Every week it was like the Beckham tryouts. Every summer, that type of stuff. It's just little things, and then you fast forward 20 years. We have every MLS academy has a U13, U15, U17. The coaches. I remember I spoke with the under 13 goalkeeper coach, and Austin FC recently. They were an expansion team. He's from Iran, and he's a goalkeeper, and he played semi-professionally. And Austin FC sent all the coaching staff to Germany for a formal coaching training course. Little things like that probably weren't happening 20 years ago,
So
and things like this.
Maybe we won't know the extent of this for 50 years.
Yeah.
Sure, but like I mentioned, MLS is fighting against NFL, NBA, all these other things. Saudi doesn't have any of that to deal with, right? It's only football.
It is, but there are football fans in Europe that the MLS could have done a better job of targeting.
I don't. Okay, yeah, maybe. I think MLS.
There is. If you
the
take
timing.
the MLS and you take out some of the awful chants, maybe dub some European crowd chants in over the top of the game, because that would not fly. Okay, I'm just telling you now. Go YouTube American soccer fan chants, and that just wouldn't fly. But all jokes aside, right? Prime time. If you just started bringing in players like Beckham, and then they never made the Galaxy wasn't shown on British TV in a big way.
So
I mean, they could have marketed it, target the audience in Europe.
I don't think
the audience isn't there in America, but you want to grow the MLS. Target where the audience is,
and that's why it's not a good tie for Europe, because the timing is just horrible. Brazil's a little closer. Brazil can play at 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and it's about 8 p.m. in Europe. Here on the West Coast, if you play at 7 p.m., that's 5 a.m. in the morning in Europe. What we'd have done is we've targeted Australia, because Australia has a better time zone for our night games. So NBC, I think, is partnered with Australia. A lot of the time we have the same commentators, I think, or that region.
Play early in the morning.
No, see, that's the thing. Then it's all coming from a Eurocentric way of looking at this, which is
you want to grow it. You want to. You can't say you're giving me closed doors everywhere we look.
No,
you're saying you can't grow it in America because of the other sports.
No, you can. You can
in Europe because of the time difference.
You can grow it in USA.
Way.
No, you can grow it in USA. I'm just saying you're not going to invest $20 billion into it.
I've got it.
That's a silly investment.
You should target Saudi. They love football. The MLS should target the Saudi fans.
Maybe. Who knows? Apparently, USA and Saudi Arabia are closer than ever.
Circle.
No.
To the Saudi fans again.
That's the problem, though. See, you're looking at it from, we have to go to another region of the world and get our fans. See, that's the problem. You're saying why didn't the USA target the European fans? It's like that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense.
Because you're telling me that the fans aren't there in the States because of all the other sports.
No. I said no. Don't confuse what I said. I said investing 20 billion at the time Beckham was there in the States is a bad investment because there are other sports to compete with. In Saudi, there is no, as far as I know, and this is very ethnocentric of me to say, but as far as I know, there is no other sport. At least I haven't heard it in the news. Golf is an international sport, I understand, and now apparently tennis they're looking to get into as well. But as far as leagues and whatnot in Saudi Arabia, I don't think there are that many. So it's a blank slate. It's an open canvas, right? It's a blank canvas. It's invest away. You're not gonna really see. Obviously, all of it will not be. It won't be a 1-to-1. You invest $1, you get $1 out or whatever. In the MLS, if you put in 20 billion, you still wouldn't be the biggest sport in the MLS. You would be for a couple of years.
I still stand by what I'm saying. If the Saudis do it, they will have more success in Europe. But they will need to make sure that they have the money to do it, and maybe they will. They have the money to do it, no problem. Buy up slots and show the games. And if they show them on TV that everybody can access, not just Sky Sports subscribers, then they will get fans and they will grow the sport the way you're talking about it. But the MLS didn't do that, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, MLS was very localized.
I feel like they missed a trick, and it's not. I'm not insulting the MLS or America. I said to you, I literally wrote an article for a friend's website at the time saying I thought it was a fantastic move for the MLS to bring Beckham in, and I thought more players would follow. They did, just not in what I had envisioned. And I don't know who's responsible for that, and maybe it is just the nature of the beast. Maybe it is. I don't know. But we could probably talk about this forever, like most topics we get into on the wrap-up.
True.
Guys, episode 69, the sparks were going to fly. If you go through the 69 episodes, me and Cart have got into it sometimes, we do.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about some transfer news. Actually, Hoff, do you have anything else to add before we move on? I know we talked about it. Okay, here we go. First up, Gundogan. Transfer news time, guys. Gundogan has agreed a 2-year deal with Barcelona as a free agent. He was linked with a lot of moves to Arsenal, renewing at Man City, Saudi Arabia, all this stuff. But he decided to go to Barcelona. Apparently, his wife was a big what's the word I'm looking for?
Barcelona fan?
Yeah, Barcelona fan, but she was a big instigator or catalyst in the move to Barcelona because she loves Barcelona, the city.
She's a Catalan?
I guess I don't know where she is from, but she's worth the move. Let's just put it that.
Stefan, that's what people from Barcelona are called, right? Catalans?
Yeah, coolers. Yeah, I don't know. Cooler than a cooler. Shouts out to my jeweler. Have you heard that phrase? That's a Chief Keef lyric. Anyways, culeros. That's right. But yeah, Gundogan moving to Barcelona. Your thoughts on that, guys? Yeah,
I mean, decent move, decent play. It'd be interesting to see how he plays outside of City's system and the players he has around him in a very rigid structure. Like, he pops up in ways you wouldn't expect in that City team. I don't know if he will. Is he going there to be a starter?
Well, I think he's going to be a starter. Now their midfield is Frenkie De Jong, Gavi, Pedri. Gavi, Pedri in particular, I think can learn a lot from Gundogan. He brings a little bit of that veteran leadership. It's a pretty youthful squad, I learned. Lewandowski's the other old guard there after Jordi Alba leaving and Sergio Busquets, who we'll get to in a second. But I think it'll be a nice move for him. I think he's a classic, that Barcelona style midfielder, experience, 30, young. Obviously, Barca having to go for free transfers because of their financial situation, and Barca's pull, right, being Barcelona, they can get these guys on a free, which is pretty interesting. Good football move.
Be interesting to see how he does. But yeah, I don't know. I don't. I guess this will be finding out if he can be like the main man. You know.
Other news, speaking of Barcelona, Sergio Busquets has transferred to MLS. He'll be joining Lionel Messi at Inter Miami. He's agreed to discontinue at Barcelona because of their financial situation. But personally, I'm excited about this signing. I think so. Sergio Busquets for me is probably the best, for this possession-based football. He is probably one of my favorite defensive midfielders, anchormen, in my lifetime, obviously. So because when he came around is when I, basically for my lifetime, that he's just class. He's pure class. But yeah, now Messi will have some supporting cast at Inter Miami. The MLS is sports washing, according to chat. True. No one, we won't get into it. Okay, it's on ice. It's on ice. Yeah, thoughts on Busquets moving to MLS?
Twilight years.
I mean, it's a good move for him. I don't know. Miami's just not that good. I don't know. Even with Messi, I don't think it helps them this year. I will agree. I think Busquets is one of the most underrated players of the last, 15, 20 years. Because it's through no fault of his own. He played with some of the best players in recent history. He played with Xavi and Iniesta directly, with Messi, and he was just the guy who always showed up and did his job. And he's just surrounded by all this otherworldly talent, and he is as talented as those guys. Maybe not Messi. Few people are, but he's just doing a different job that isn't as flashy. And I think he's fantastic, and he should get more credit for some of those all-time Barcelona teams than what he does get.
You've summed him up exactly like how I felt about Gilberto Silva when he was at Arsenal during a very successful team.
Oh, that's a tough one. Gilberto on Busquets level, you think? Or you're okay? Relatively. I know that's not what you said. No. Whoa.
You're in troll mode.
I am not in troll mode.
I saw you.
Sorry, I'm having to do production stuff. I missed.
Almost reached for the wig.
I missed some things. Okay. You're saying how relative to Arsenal, that's how you feel about it.
What I'm saying is that Gilberto Silva in a very, very successful Arsenal team had better players all around him, and he was very underappreciated. And the job that he did, in the same vein as Busquets in that team. Anyway, that was my point.
Also linked to Inter Miami, brought up by Chet and Stefan, is Jordi Alba as well. So that would be interesting to see them all back together, and possible Luis Suarez. Definite, what's past Twilight?
Who's he gonna bite next?
Nighttime.
Nighttime move. Who's gonna bite next? Jesus.
He has to bite someone in the MLS if he plays there.
Do not give Luis Suarez any bath salts in Florida. You know what I'm saying? Do you guys remember that?
I think no.
Do you remember that bath salt scandal a couple years ago? Oh, probably over a decade ago. Apparently in Florida, people were taking bath salts, and literally, people were biting the faces off of other people. Literally, like zombies.
In Florida.
I think I do remember something about that.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Now that you say that.
Other transfer news. Let's keep it moving along. Kai Havertz agrees a £60 million, euro. I just wrote 60 million. I don't remember what it was. Move to Arsenal. Milo, your thoughts on Arsenal getting the next Dennis Bergkamp?
Okay, please don't ever say those two names in the same sentence.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
All right.
Please.
That is probably the most insulting thing you've ever said to me. I'm almost unable to respond, but I will. Look, we're going to get a hard time because he's not been a successful player at Chelsea. You know, did he look like a good player before that? Yes. I think people were quite pumped that he was signing for Chelsea at the time. Chelsea fans obviously have changed their tune now, like most fans would. You know what? The way I look at it is if Arteta sees something in him that he can fit in his system and thinks it'll be a success, I believe Arteta has earned the trust to try that, to do that. And I hope that it works out, obviously. I think the price tag is going to get frowned upon, and you know what, maybe rightly so, but we're in a can't win situation. If we bid less, we're so cheap, we never bid the right amount. When we go in and pay this much, you've overspent. We're never going to win with the troll fan bases, right?
Big club things, man.
Not even going to get into it. And the other thing is, it's another London club. They're going to want us to pay a premium. It's a Premier League ready player. They're going to want us to pay it. You get a Premier League tax. You just do. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
And I think if it doesn't detract from the money we're going to spend on other positions, then I'm not against it. I'm interested to see how he slots in, and I think, it'd be really interesting. Is he going to be an option that we bring off the bench? Is he going to be an option that we play in Europe? Is he going to be a starter alongside Odegaard? I don't know. So I'm interested to see how we utilize him. It feels a bit like he's doubling down on the false nine. Because Jesus plays a lot like a false nine. I don't think anyone looks at him as a false nine, but he plays a lot like one. And in Arteta's system, Martinelli and Saka give you the ability to play with a false nine every day of the week, because that centre forward can drop deep. Those two are running in behind, and they're fast, they're skillful. They score. Saka scored a lot of goals for his position. Martinelli got a lot of goals for his position. Even people were questioning Martinelli during the season, but his stats at the end are still really good for playing on the wing. So, I think that's why I said to you during the season, goals was never my concern about the team. So I think if Havertz is an option for Jesus, maybe Jesus's injury recovery isn't going as well as we thought. Maybe he's a direct replacement for Jesus. We just don't know. You know what I mean? Like there's too many variables.
Does that put into jeopardy Balogun or Nketiah's position, you think? Or
I think, hold on? I think Balogun, I don't hold anything against him. Obviously, when he was a younger player in the system, I think everybody was kind of pumped about this kid. And then obviously he's gone on loan and had a good season. Now the club's in a difficult position because it's either you take a chance on him and play him. That means you're going to have to start him somewhere. Otherwise, he's going to be unhappy the whole time and it would just be, detriment to the dressing room. Or whatever, could be, right? He's had a good season on loan. He wants to play. So, do you know what I mean? From what I understand is Arteta's told him he's coming, he's part of the plan, and he's going to be on preseason, and they're going to make a decision after preseason.
Yeah.
That's the latest I read on it.
Other Arsenal news is Yuri and Timber apparently agreed to move to you guys as well. Great signing, I think. United were looking for him for a while. Yeah. He has the 10 Hag stamp of approval, so you know it's good. you know it's good.
I hope that one does go across the line, and I think what's funny is this is where I was trying to explain to a certain individual in my Discord. I don't need to tell you who it is, but I was trying to explain that the media can turn one story into a mammoth, right? And they can turn another story, you don't even hear about it until, Arsenal are literally about to sign Timber, maybe?
Right.
Now it's a story, do you know what I mean? Whereas all the news is focused on Rice.
Yeah.
Because that's the story, that's where the clicks are, that's got the fan bases riled up, that's got the fans arguing on social media, that gives them more clicks. It's all about the money. Don't fall for it, guys. Don't fall for it. Just wait and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, Timber's nice. That
good signing, yeah.
let's move on to some Manchester United news. Eric Ten Hag apparently has listed 11 players at Man United, including 2 must-sell stars. Harry Maguire, Fred, possibly Sancho being listed for 45 million. We need to add. We need some income before we can spend on tidying things up. Alex Tuanzebe, among names. We've sold Zidane Iqbal for 850k to Utrecht, and we have a 40% sell-on clause as well. So that's happening. David De Gea likely to move. We're looking at moves for possibly a new goalkeeper, a new striker, a new midfield. We need income. Eric Bailly, Alex Telles, Brandon Williams, Dean Henderson, all on the chopping block according to reports. We really need to get some sales before we can think about signing. A lot of fans are just thinking sign, 400 million here, 300, this guy, that guy. It's just we have to sell. In this age of FFP, it's not, it's not. We can't just do whatever we want. But I thought the interesting one that was linked, the big one that made a splash online was Jadon Sancho being listed apparently for 45 million. 45 million. Trying to cut our losses there. High potential player. I know, Milo, you agree with me, I'm pretty sure. One of the highest potential players in the Premier League, possibly. He does have a lot of potential. But
come on, how you were bigging him up to how it is now, willing to part ways with him, that's gotta hurt. If I look past the facade of your joke there.
No, look, it's potential though. That's the thing about potential.
Well, potentially, why don't you want to keep him if his potential is so high?
Well, that I was gonna get to that. That I think that's what this is. This is a move to say, yo, wake up. Right now, he's at the Gala Festival wearing some crazy ass jacket and stuff. I hate all that stuff. All these footballers are wearing the weirdest clothes right now in Paris. Some of them had good seasons, fine, but Sancho, bro, he did not have a good season. He did not have a good season, and he needs. Hopefully, this is a wake up call, being like, look, we'll drop you, man. We'll drop you. We'll cut our losses. We'll take a loss on you. Just get out, Yeah, you're welcome to time him out. By the way, you're welcome.
I'm thinking about it. He's
absolutely no. Don't even.
He's getting thinner.
If he even tickles you, just go for it. I'm serious. I'm learning about moderation this past week. I've learned a lot. If you let it linger, it takes a lot out of you. At least me. You just gotta cut it off. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see, because we definitely need income. We need income before buying, because I think with reports we only have 100 million to spend, and for all the changes that Ten Hag wants, we have to sell. We have to clear up the wage book, all that stuff as well. Yeah, Hoff, any thoughts on any of that stuff? We're gonna go to some rumors now.
I'm kind of surprised by the Sancho listing. Just because it's a big name English player coming back, and I thought he did perform better this year than he did his first season, personally. I guess I also understand Man United wanting to form the squad more in Ten Hag's image, I guess. With his guys, I'm always for managers getting their guys, and whether that's shaping the players that they have into their guys, or getting actual players that they've worked with before. I'm all for managers being afforded every opportunity they can get to succeed. But yeah, it was surprising to see him on the list there.
Yeah.
How much did you pay for him?
70, 80, something like that.
And
I don't know.
Rumor is he's listed for 55 mil. Is that right?
Yeah. Depreciation.
So basically, he's a flop. You just can't admit it.
Well, so far he is a flop.
He's a flop.
So far he's a flop.
He I said Anthony was the Nicolas Pepe. Maybe Sancho was Pepe.
Maybe.
Same price tag. Can we look at Pepe versus Sancho's stat lines, maybe?
Ooh.
You know what I mean? I don't know, is that doable? What's that website that you can compare two players? I forget what
FBref.
FBref, yeah. Other news. Actually, it's not much of a rumor. Tonali to Newcastle is apparently finalized. Big move for Newcastle. They were linked with Barella as well, but they settled on Tonali for 70 million. Interesting move. Big move there. Coach Roberto Mancini on Tonali says, if someone like him leaves Italy, it means there is a problem. A lot of people were saying Tonali's, going to be at Milan for the rest of his career, things like that. They signed him at a pretty young age, but they're making such a massive profit on him that you just can't turn it down. Declan Rice, a big topic of conversation. Arsenal being heavily linked. I mean, I think they're the front runners there. Then we got Man City. You have United kind of sneaking around there as well. Caicedo. I think it's interesting with Rice and Caicedo is that there's kind of 3 or 4 teams in for these two players, right? United are in for Caicedo, United, Chelsea, and Arsenal. Rice, Caicedo, and then City's kind of out there as well. I would maybe it's three teams for 2 players. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
I still think we're going to get him, personally. I think a lot of this is media driven because he's an English player and some of it may be agent driven, but I think a lot of this is just postulating, and I think it's already, I think he's made it clear where he wants to go, and I don't know. I don't want a saga drawn out till the end of August. So either let's get it done in the next couple of weeks, or let's move on. If it's not going to happen, then let's move on and find another target before they get snapped up by someone else.
Yeah.
Any rumors on the Tottenham front, Hoff?
I was just gonna say to Milo's point there. Spurs are doing something that I don't remember seeing them do since they signed Luka Modric right before the Euros. That would have been in 2012, I think. Is that right? Or is that no? That's too early. It would have been 2008 Euros. They linked with David Raya from Brentford and agreed personal terms with him. Brentford not budging off of their valuation for him. I think they wanted 40 million for him, and he's got a year left on his contract. So Tottenham said, all right, that's your price. We're not paying it. So they're going to announce Guglielmo Vicario.
Oh my God. Nice one.
Empoli, who's
Did you say Googly Elmo? Okay. Just checking.
Elmo with googly eyes.
Yeah, okay, just checking.
He's been I've been studying up on him because I didn't watch a lot of Empoli games this past season. A lot of Serie A fans, Italian national team fans, said he was the second best goalkeeper in Serie A after Maignan last year, which is high praise. And a lot of Italian fans said that he should, at least given his current form, should be the number 1 for Italy in front of Donnarumma. So high praise. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't watch a lot of Empoli, but promising that we're getting hopefully a more consistent ball playing goalkeeper that will be able to distribute better. Well, it's not hard to distribute better than Lloris. I will say Lloris, excuse me, improved in that aspect in his time at Tottenham, but that's been like a 9-year process. So hopefully this guy is closer to that finished product. The other 2 big links, I guess, are that I've read so far are Tapsoba, center back from Leverkusen, and Van de Ven, also center back from Wolfsburg.
Yeah. Do you
Love a good left-footed center back, and I've been watching a lot of Van de Ven videos. Apparently, Liverpool are in for him as well. He is rapid. There's one video of him. His goalkeeper was up for a corner, and they didn't score. The other team counters, and he outruns his goalkeeper going back and the guy with the ball, and goes back and blocks a potential goal. So he's amazingly fast. And Tapsoba is also solid. I did watch a lot of Tapsoba this year, so that excites me if that is happening.
Okay, nice. Yeah, maybe next week we could talk a little bit about Postecoglou, his system, because I'm curious about whether he's going to stick with a back three, or adapt to what Tottenham have, or kind of bring in his new system. I'd love to see Tottenham play without a back three for once. It'd be
Both.
Let's do a special on that. We got weeks of summer to go.
Yeah, to be honest, when I saw Ange Postecoglou's name, I didn't even know he was Australian at first. It was news to me when I heard him speaking in an Australian accent. I was just like, this is Turkish, right?
This is why Aussie18, who hasn't been in the chat tonight, but this is why he's back on the Tottenham bandwagon.
Oh, true.
Good.
He had left to join Wrexham because he watched that show. Okay. And now it's Wrexham and Tottenham.
Nice.
So basically, if you want Aussie to support you, just release a documentary about your club.
There we go. Alrighty, guys, let's wrap it up. Any other news you guys want to talk? I mean, I don't know if we have time for trivia, chat questions, but should we do a little trivia?
We do trivia? I got it ready to go.
Let's do some trivia. Oh.
James Madison's probably going to happen in the next couple weeks.
Oh, true.
I forgot about that. I've liked watching him his whole career, even back at Norwich days. That's exciting. I'm really excited about that move.
Yeah, that's a good signing there as well. I mean, it's not looking all. It's you never know. Postecoglou, I like him. Everything I've heard of him so far, I like him. All right, let's do some trivia, and then we'll wrap it up for the night.
All right.
A little late today, but it's okay.
Yeah.
So damn it! I got to do sound effects. Remind me to do sound effects. I will take care of them for next week.
Okay.
Someone remind me at some point, and I will. I've got a perfect ding. I've got a perfect wrong noise. I've got all kinds of. Yeah, I've got like perfect buzzer noises that we can use. Anyway.
Okay.
So in the meantime, I guess. Hoff, you can say MLS if you know the answer, and Cart, you can say Saudi.
Saudi. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
That's all I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
All right, chat closed.
Oh yeah,
Chat's closed.
Yeah, close your chat, because there was I know there was some accusations thrown around last week.
All right, there we go.
All right. So let me just write this so I don't forget. Saudi MLS. Okay. All right, I've got a little notepad. You see those straight. All right. The questions tonight are on the 2020-21 season.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
So 2021. Yeah. Manchester City won the title by 12 points. Where were they in the table on Christmas Day? One guess only, or one answer only.
MLS.
Go on.
First?
Nope.
Saudi.
Go on.
Third.
They were 8.
Ooh.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, they were even below Everton, it says here. 15 straight wins put an end to their struggles. So
wow.
There you go. Yeah. Sorry, Everton fans, but that was a dig at you by the quiz there. Which club was 4 points clear at the top of the table on Christmas Day that year?
Saudi.
21.
Go on.
Liverpool.
Correct.
Yeah. Nice.
Correct. Yeah, Leicester was second on Christmas Day that year.
Wow. Leicester.
Let's see.
Crazy.
All right, this is kind of a tough question, but it's how many matches did Sheffield United play this season before they won one? You get one.
Oh, I get what you mean. Saudi.
Okay.
Go on.
15.
Incorrect.
Ooh. MLS 10?
Not 10. Shall I give a point to the closest?
Nah.
No. I mean, I could.
I wouldn't have guessed first.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's fair.
That's very fair of you to say. So, which two clubs played with the same?
Wait, what was the answer?
Oh, 17.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Sorry.
Jeez.
Which two clubs played with the same sponsor on the front of their shirt?
Oh, man.
And I will give you the sponsor if you're really struggling.
I mean, we could do it either way. I mean, should we do a guess and then get the sponsor and then guess again?
No, I'll just go.
I'll go.
No, I'll give you the sponsor. They were both sponsored by Kazoo, the used car website.
Okay. I know one.
Go on, half.
Aston Villa?
You have to say two clubs.
Yeah. Okay. Second one, Everton.
Correct.
That's right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Correct.
I knew Everton. I didn't remember Aston Villa. Nice one.
That Kazoo cash.
What is Kazoo?
All right. Harry Kane. It's a used car website, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Harry Kane finished with more goals and more assists than any other player in the league. Who was the last player to achieve this double?
Assists and goals.
Oh man. MLS.
Go on.
It's Frank Lampard.
Incorrect.
Damn.
I'll go Saudi. I'll go Rooney.
Not Rooney. It was Andy Cole.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
In the 93-94 season, he scored 34 goals and 13 assists.
Oh, that's
So lots of players
legendary.
have beaten one or the other, but never like both.
Right.
All right.
Deep cut.
Which team's top goal scorer only scored penalties? What a stat this is.
Wow.
So I want the team. Which team's top goal scorer only scored penalties? This is a crazy statistic, by the way.
Can you tell us how many goals?
7.
7 penalties. Wow. MLS.
Go on.
Southampton?
Incorrect.
Damn.
Yeah, I want the team.
Only penalties. So it would have to be like who randomly took penalties.
That's what I was guessing. Ward Prowse.
Yeah. But he never scored a goal from open play then. So it would have to be, I don't know, Sheffield?
Incorrect. The answer is Chelsea. Somehow Chelsea finished in the top 4 with top scorer Jorginho, who's only scored 7 goals all from the spot.
Wow.
He was top scorer. Interesting.
What a
Crazy stat. And Stefan in the
is
chat, by
crazy.
the way, got that correct.
Oh, nice, Stefan.
Yeah. Which team scored 7 goals in one match and conceded 7 goals in another? Saudi?
Conceded and scored 7?
Yeah.
Oh wow. I mean, I'm just gonna go Saudi. Yeah, I'll go Saudi.
Okay.
Liverpool.
Correct.
Yeah. Villa. Or
They lost 7-2 to Villa in October and beat Palace
Yeah.
7-0 in December.
Villa.
Crazy.
Who was the only player to score 4 goals in a game during this season?
Ooh.
And didn't get man of the match.
Oh wow.
Fucking hell.
Jeez.
Some biasness going on, I believe, in that vote.
MLS.
Go on.
Salah?
No.
Damn.
4 goals.
4 goals.
Kevin De Bruyne.
Incorrect. It was Son.
Oh, I was gonna say Son.
Yeah.
I thought Half was gonna say Son.
It was a 5-2 win at Southampton. Harry Kane somehow got man of the match.
That's when you said bias. That's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah.
How did Harry Kane get the man of the match in that game?
Who knows? Probably scored a
wife.
penalty.
His wife did the vote. Goodness me.
Last one.
Unusual.
Oh no! How many were
Sure,
there?
yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. It's 2-1 to Cart right now. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Let's do 2. All right, whatever.
yeah. Which unusual Premier League record did James Milner set this season? It was a record previously held by Peter Crouch. There's your clue.
Peter Crouch.
I don't know. Saudi.
Go on.
Most appearances off the bench.
Yep.
Oh wow!
History.
Nice.
Nice.
Wait,
Yeah.
was that? Wait, what? Was that the answer?
Most,
Okay.
Most
Okay. Okay.
appearances as a sub. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly. Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
All right, that solidifies it for the win because there's
Alrighty.
only one more question anyway, so it would be 3-2 even if you got that half.
Do you want to just do the last question just for the shit of it? Or?
Cart was due a win.
Yeah.
The next question was which player scored 2 penalties in his team's first game of the season and 2 in his team's last game of the season.
2 penalties.
Yeah.
First and last game.
Ollie Watkins.
No.
I don't even think he was there, was he? Maybe he was. I don't know.
How wild would it be if it was Jorginho? He scored 4 goals the first and last day and 3 in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Oh,
be good.
Castle saying Tony, Ivan Tony.
It's not Tony.
Ooh.
2 on the first day, 2 on the last day. Who would have got 2 penalties on the last day? Calvert-Lewin?
No, not Calvert-Lewin.
Oh, I have no idea.
It was Jamie Vardy.
Jamie Vardy.
Jamie Vardy.
Nice. Guys, anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
Nah, I'm good.
No? So I will DM you why this was a special show, Milo. And maybe you missed. Maybe it wasn't that apparent, to be honest. But I'll DM you.
Okay, dude, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay, I will. I'm actually. It's a little sketchy now. Anyways, I'll
I
mention.
mean, it's episode 69. We've got a nice blue. I thought it was just a new fancy livery.
It is a nice livery. It is. And by the way, guys, if you're an artist, we're looking to kind of refab some things, logo, etc. Blah blah blah. Like you see the wrap up over there on the bottom right, bottom left. We're not married to that. We want to. There's over 100, 200 wrap ups on YouTube, so we want to kind of get something unique. We have a couple names in the works, but if you know how to design a logo, send me a DM or any of us a DM, and let's talk. We'll figure something out. Milo, thanks for joining.
Thank you, man.
I will see you guys next time. Oh yeah.
I'll do the dad joke for you.
Oh shit, yeah, dad joke.
I got it. It's mainly for Half. I know he loves them.
Oh yeah.
So, why was the pig covered in ink? Because it lived in a pen.
Yes.
Ooh, nice. I like that one.
That's
There
good.
you go.
That's like tuck your kid in at night type of
Dude,
maybe.
Monday's lively debate with Cartwheel in the books, guys.
That was pretty tame today.
No, we were good. Listen, man, if we didn't, if we didn't have these debates on some shows, because it's not every show, it's just certain topics, and it all just adds to the show,
Yeah, absolutely. I completely
love it.
agree.
Our viewers in in far-flung places love it.
It tested well. It tested well in far-flung.
Yeah, we're targeting
Cambodia.
Saudis.
Yeah.
Cartwheel's
Whoever's in
definitely
Denmark.
targeting the Saudi market.
That's the play.
That would be a great play.
No.
Anyone know anyone in Saudi?
In
We're gonna have
Rydia.
to add an F1 segment.
Oh,
Aramco.
dude, I'm happy to do that.
Oh yeah, we gotta find F1 time as well. Is there F1 this weekend?
Don't think it's this weekend.
No.
Okay.
I think
Alrighty, guys.
a Red Bull ring next.